Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. This is Dear World Christian, and who we got?
The big homie T. Shees. I know I'm way too old to be referring to myself in such crude terms, but Todd Shannon, Todd thinks. How's it going, my brother?
Oh, mighty fine, man. Mighty fine. It's been a great week, and glad to be hopping on here with you just to chop it up a little bit. We got two possible topics, so I just kind of wanted to. Okay, you know what? I just closed out my notes, man. Hey, y'all, I need y'all to stretch your hands toward the camera, man. I got to get this. I got to get this eCam on point, man. There's just too much power here for me not to be amazing with this. So I appreciate you all tuning in with us tonight. Go ahead.
We need an authentic healing, a praise Jesus miracle, as they say had they said in the Green Mile.
Wow.
You mean a praise Jesus miracle?
Oh my. Okay, let's get that. Here, we'll just add this to it as well. Hold on one second. That's the trumpet. That's the trumpet sound. That's the trumpet sound.
I gotta give you a round of applause on that, brother.
I got that.
Applause. I like it.
Okay. I need a way to share sound effects. I keep playing with K-Dub, and I'm like, we need to make a mixtape, like just a place where we can share sound effects. Like just, I don't care if it's even a Dropbox or somewhere where you can just load up the sound effects so people can, I like that one that he uses, and they can grab it. That would be dope.
Yeah. You know one that I want?
What's that?
I don't know if you're a big hip hop head, but like, you know that the beginning of Nas's Ether, the Jay-Z diss song?
Mm-hmm.
It goes bana. That's the one that I want, because I want to, every time I'm about to go in on somebody, that means I'm about to ether you.
I'm not familiar with it, but let me see real quick.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
Okay. Now I'm about to pull it real quick.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank y'all so much, man. We're going to get at it. We're going to get at it in a second here. All right, let's see. I got the song. I don't know how to do it, man. Hold on. I think I should. Maybe I could just share the window. Here, let me open this up. Maybe I don't want to get it. Oh, Todd, this is what you into? Whoa, this?
You ain't talking about me, dog. You? What?
Yeah.
Been on my.
Whoa, man, wait. All this?
No. Just a little pump. Just a little pump.
Oh, okay. I'm like, man, you violent, bro.
Nah, brother.
We can't have you over here doing that, man. We ain't violent over here in Dear World Christian, my brother.
I got to keep it sanctified.
I got you, man.
I want to play that whole thing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and here. We're gonna bring some. I don't know. We gotta bring some. I don't got a lot of sound effects. Anyway, that's something I got to work on. So I'm gonna iron it out though. This week should be a good week to get it ironed out and get it perfected. But hey, let's talk about it, because part of what we were going to discuss today was the infamous, I say infamous, Club Shay interview with Katt Williams. You got anything you want to say to start us off?
Well, I think it speaks to the power of how these new platforms allow us to have basically public conversations, right?
Facts.
They allow us to all have conversations together, which I think is valuable. The Katt Williams perspective, I'm not sure. I think I kind of know why it struck a nerve, is because it was just enough truth in it to grasp people, but it was just scandalous enough for people who just gossip and whatever to tune in, right? So it was that good combination, because you can get to that Wendy Williams type of gossip where it's just all just salacious nonsense.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I can't even. And then there's also, you're more sterile, it's very truth based, but like a little too, not enough juicy details for people to follow. So I think it fell right in the middle of that. I actually think that Katt Williams was capping on a lot of that stuff, but a lot of what he was saying was true. So we can
no
get
question about that. No question. All right. So since you and I both do Christian content, how would I take that information that you just shared and
Mhm.
flip it on its head to produce a, for lack of a better term, Club Shay-Shay-esque, sanctified
Mm.
Club Shay-Shay
Mhm.
example. Because I mean, I got a lot. I've taken a lot of time to dig into this phenomenon. But what would you say? Like, okay, there's something to take out of this. So, how would you go about starting that trek?
So let me ask a clarifying question. So do you mean like how would we flip the actual Club Shay content, or how would we duplicate it and with another guest or in another way? Well, basically, how could we take what we learned from that and then do an original work? Which one do you mean?
The second, let me lay the land real quick. Shannon
Mhm.
Sharp and his team knew that if they've been doing this for a while, they have one interview, they sit down with that person, and they take that interview. And I got to give props to Shannon for his ability to interview and have a conversation. Sure, he's not a Dateline. He's not going to get into the expose type of interview, but he gives people an opportunity to talk. And you heard a lot of people say it, like he creates a safe space for them just to talk and get it off their chest and get stuff out there in the open. So he gets the omnibus interview and chops it up like a sushi chef and provides it in multiple different bite-sized pieces that each one of those is driving up his brand. Each one of those is driving up interest in his overall Club Shay-Shay. And so, but they're ultimately feeding this machine of that first omnibus video. So how could Christians, how would you say, I need to find me a Katt Williams-esque type video that I could create, that I could chop up maybe into 4 pieces or 9 pieces? Because please understand, Shannon Sharp cut that thing into 41 separate individual videos. Matter of fact, 43, because he did the best of Katt Williams. He did a best of, which is like 90 minutes long. So they squeeze all the blood out that turnip. So what can we do as Christians to do the same thing, where we have a good concept that we know will do great on our channels, but we can also split it up and allow it to be on bite-sized pieces that will ultimately drive more people to that main topic. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good. I think first of all, the thing to circle back to the comment about how they always say he creates a safe space for people to talk. I think so let's just take, for example, Tucker Carlson's recent interview with Vladimir Putin, right? This is an interesting contrast, right? Because did you know about that?
No, I knew about it. My room has been raided. I need to put a lock on the studio.
I got you. Somebody
Rolled
Why are you like this? Make sure the house is clean for you.
Why are you the way that you are? No,
right. Why are you like this? Goodbye. Goodbye, child. No, I knew about the Vladimir Putin interview, and I got some reasons why I don't think it resonated as much as I don't think
it didn't actually have the cultural impact. But I think the point was that what Tucker did, and I think what Shannon does, and what ties this together, is that when you have a guest on your show, you want the people to get their perspective, right?
That is correct.
It is not your job per se to in real time, fact check and arbitrate.
That's fair.
What they're saying, right? Because I think there's a time for that. And like, for example, when I watch, this is the polar opposite, right? If I watch like any sort of political, interview, right? Or they have some, you turn to CNN and they have some guest on, right? Like I did a video where Joy Reid was interviewing this lady from Moms for Liberty about.
I did that one too. Yeah.
Right. And basically what Joy Reid, the only reason why she had them on was not so that the people could get her perspective, but so that she could rebut and be the opposition to everything.
Yep.
So people don't like that. People don't respect that, and I don't like it because I know what Joy Reid thinks. I want to know what she thinks. I
Correct.
want to know what that lady's perspective is. And Joy Reid has her own show where she can take the next 30 minutes after the lady is off to say what her perspective is on what Joy Reid said. Right. So I think that's the first
The Moms for
like,
Liberty said, yes.
right. So my point is that you have to let people actually express their perspective if you're going to have an interaction with them. And I think secondly, it really, which is really the secret sauce, right? Which is to have interesting people that you have conversations with, because Katt Williams, for all, right, wrong, or indifferent, he's an interesting person, right? So the question is, how can we engage with interesting people? I just as a side note, and I'll toss it back to you. One of the people that I want to have on my show, and I set this as a goal from the beginning, is Bishop Patrick Wooten. You know who Bishop Wooten is?
Sure do. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the reason why I find him so fascinating, because he is Church of God in Christ, Black church, but he is like so hardcore, like Christ-centered, conservative. He ain't with none of that Democrat garbage. And I wonder how he does that in the midst of a culture that is the exact opposite.
Correct.
That's what I want to ask him. Is just like, Black church is dyed in the wool, Democrat, whatever, and he's having none of it. And I want to know what that's about.
I got you. I like it. All right. So I don't know. I don't think I have I really want to have type of interviewee on my mind. You know what I would? You know what it would? Yeah, I know who I would. And it's going to be crazy. I would love to interview Jamal Bryant or William Murphy. Not because I dunk on them, but I would like to ask them some more questions that I don't feel people are asking related to, and you can throw E. Dewey Smith in there, any of them. But I would love to hear them express and be questioned and give them an opportunity to answer said questions, not just talk about your pet projects, but really get into the weeds about why it is that you do what you do, and why is what you do doesn't seem to rhyme with Christianity at all. Like, why is that? But so that would probably be, if I had any, that probably would be it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And, I think that probably the best conversations you end up having between people that you probably just agree with in some sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I tell you one thing that I have been getting into lately is I've been, for some reason, I've been trying to take a deeper dive into Catholicism.
Okay.
And I found this guy on the internet. He's called his channel is called the Council of Trent. And basically he's like a Catholic apologist. And there's so many things that he says that I'm just like, help me understand,
for sure.
And I would like to get his, he does a lot of formal debates, but I would just like to have a discussion with him, because I think that would be interesting. Now his profile is a lot bigger than mine, so I don't know if he would agree to it, but I think that for me personally, that is an area that I want to go into, and having guests on and having these conversations that I think are meaningful. So, yeah.
Now, I wouldn't mind having my resident atheist, Brandon. I would like to have him on to discuss with him. I think that would be a good conversation, because I've yet to see him discuss something with somebody who's, again, I'd be glad to just let him talk, but there's questions that I have that need to be answered. I think that would help clarify his position and show that I'm not just a meanie head Christian guy that just doesn't want to accept that Brandon has come up with some new revelation. No, Brandon's wrong, but I would like to show that in real time.
Brandon?
Yeah, his name's is from Mind Shift. I've talked about him a lot. I've done quite a few videos on him.
Okay.
But yeah, he has a growing platform. He's out there really grinding it out in the YouTube space. But I feel like first of all, his arguments, after a while, you realize that all the arguments are the same. There's not a real new argument. It's just the same argument. God is a meanie head. What about Noah? where did why did God kill babies? I mean, just a very basic arguments. You'll hear them again and again and again. But the problem, I think, for him, I always tell people, like, he's betting that you're not going to check his homework. He's betting that you're not going to actually look at what he's saying in light of Scripture. Because once you open up the book, you see there's a couple problems with the things that you're saying, and so therefore that's why. And I would love to just, hey, why do you do that? Like, why do you misrepresent and straw man the God that you say is so easy to defeat? But your arguments are just straw man arguments. Like, it just seemed like you wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't have to do that if your argumentation was so flawless. But we've already heard it before, and it wasn't flawless the 85 other times we heard it. So why are you different? I don't understand. So
you know what I do find quite fascinating about a lot of the atheist crowd is I just chuckle whenever I hear them try to make these arguments about, like the moral argument against God.
Yeah.
I just find it so bizarre because it just says to me that they don't even understand the concept of objective morality, because they, on their own worldview, there is nothing wrong with anything, not objectively.
Right. If they were honest, there's no way for them to do that. But they'll
Right.
come up. I've heard a lot of shenanigans about that. I'm like, that sounds cute, but it doesn't work. I understand that you don't want there to be a God, but I found a real simple question to ask. Like, hey, I'll gladly answer that for you. But after I finish answering that question, what else will impede you from bowing your knees to Christ and acknowledging him as Lord? What else will it take? Oh, I'll never do it. I don't care. Well, there you go. So the question isn't really about whether or not, what did Noah do with the animal waste? The question really is not, how did Jesus walk on water? That's not the question. The real issue is you don't care what God says. You really ultimately want to rebel, which sounds a lot like, sounds like that Psalm 2 in real play. Like, let us burst off his bonds. So it's not a matter of anything else, but rather just that you are in rebellion. Because Jesus already told you what you needed to do. Repent and believe the gospel. But you don't want that because you are in rebellion. Because why? You need to repent. So it's easy to get through all the haze and the fog of war and get down to the real issue at hand, is that you are a man or a woman in rebellion against the one true living God.
Exactly.
Something else I noticed on Shannon Sharp's show is that he's very consistent with the branding of his show. So the show, from the color scheme, let me see if I can pull this back up. I botched this up. I have no idea. So the color scheme is the same. It's extremely not coming up, but we're going to play it off. All right. His color scheme, the gold and black, his logo, and you see that in all of his videos, all of the 42 cuts that he made from the Katt Williams video. That's part of it. So I think that's one of the things that we as Christians can really take from that, is how do we just make sure our content is consistent upon show upon show upon show. Even if you did something like changed it each show, but let's say that you were able to sit down with that Catholic guy. So maybe that whole series has a look, but then the next time you have an interview with an atheist, maybe it has a different look, but sort of kind of the same. Maybe a slightly different color or a different font or something like that. What do you think?
I think that's interesting. And as a person who takes a lot of pride in the visual aspect of it, I do not like to put out content where the aesthetic is not quite what I like.
I got you.
At the same time, one person that challenges my assumptions about that, and I think it's always good to get counter examples, is Black conservative. I don't know if you're a Black conservative perspective.
Yeah.
He puts out the most like low budget looking, like
thumbnails. Yeah.
Like,
all of it is low budget.
All of it. It looks like
looks
like he's got a 720p camera. Sometimes he got lint on his shirt. It's poorly lit, and he's just cranking out videos and growing. And I'm just like, so what is it So what is the appeal that he has? And I think it's, when you think about branding, you have to just understand like why. I think his secret sauce is that, first of all, I'm not kidding you, he puts out like 5-6 videos a day.
Yeah, absolutely does. I know what you talk about.
He's like cranking them. And when I say a day, I mean like weekends, holidays. Like I'm just like, bro, do you have a life? Like, because all you do is put out videos. And so that's kind of his deal. So apparently people tune into his channel for the information. And in some cases, I'm almost offended at how bad it looks. I'm just like, why are you giving me this? Like, what are you doing? But he just knows what his lane is. And he just is like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to spend any time on that because it's better for me to get the information out than to have a perfect aesthetic. Maybe that's how he thinks. I don't know. But I just think that's an interesting.
I think there's, no, I agree with you that there's definitely an aesthetic, but I think he might, and I can't speak for Black conservative perspective, but I think done is better than perfect. And if you pay attention, a lot of the things that he puts out are almost cutting edge. They're almost hot off the press, if you will.
Right.
So you know what? When you pull something hot off the press, you might smudge a picture because the ink was not perfectly dry. But doggone it, you're going to get this hot news and it's got a thumbnail on it. I'm sorry, the thumbprint from the editor. But you know what? You're going to get this hot news. We got to get this out here. Got to get out here. So there's several other YouTubers that I follow that put out easily 6-7 pieces of content a day. Easily. But like we were having a conversation earlier, like, but their content is not super long. Like it's, 8 minutes up to maybe like 11. And it's out of there. And a lot of the time, like Black conservative perspective, it's truly one and done. He ain't doing no editing. No major editing. He might, use Descript for a second. But so yeah, I think there's something there, even if it's not perfect. The content's got to get out there, and I think that's what happens. But what do you think? What's up, Jason? How are you, man? Grace and peace, brother. Good to see you, Sheila. And Marker in the building. Thank y'all, everybody who's stopping by tonight. We're just sitting there. We Todd and myself are kind of discussing some of the backlash, if you will, some of the unpacking of the Club Shay interview with Katt Williams, and just trying to glean some things that Christians can pick up from that interview, and if it's something applicable that we can apply on our own content and such like that. So that's it. And at the moment, I can't get my screen to show my deal. So there's that. Okay, try my dealio one more time. It's not showing up. I don't know why. Okay, but go ahead. What are you gonna say, Todd?
No, I was just gonna say that I do think that from the standpoint of the content, I do think that we can. I think it's important to understand who we are, but I do think I think there's never any downside to, like, I have gone beyond. I try not to edit now as well, and the reason why I try not to edit is because I don't have a lot of time, and what I found is that when I would shoot and then go back and edit, I would find myself obsessing over little stuff, and then like you said, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
So I try to, in my little workflow, in my software that I use, I can do live cuts or whatever. I can do different scenes. And so sometimes if I don't like what I did, I'll just shoot it over. I'll just redo it because that's oftentimes quicker than editing.
Yeah, I got you.
So I do think that there are little strategies that you can do like that. And I've gone back and forth with that, and I am trying to find the happy median because I do think that there is room for, basically sometimes you do a take and it's great and you're just like, well, I made that one mistake. I can't recapture that magic. So I'm just going to edit. Right. But I think the main thing is just that to stick with getting content out. And I mean, to circle back to Black conservative, there's really no excuse for his stuff to look as low quality. There's just no reason for it. So I don't know. I know that he's, kind of cranking him out. I just don't think he cares. But I do think it's an interesting counterexample of, Sometimes it doesn't matter as much, but maybe instead of being at, I don't know, 750,000 subs or whatever, maybe he'd be at 1 million if it mattered to him. I don't know. You
Eh,
just never know, right?
right, yeah. And I think we could look at things like his views. Are people
Right.
watching his videos?
Mhm.
I think his videos are on the longer end. If
Yeah.
8 minutes is the low, then they're somewhere, in the higher end, 12 minutes long and stuff like that. But
12, 15, 20. Yeah, he has a lot
yeah,
of 20-minute videos.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely something there, but I think it's on him. If he likes that, then knock yourself out, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He's ahead of me, so I can't mess with him. So I'm trying to get
Yeah,
myself.
I basically use him as kind of like like a news aggregator, which is effectively what he's done. Like I don't have
Oh
to
yeah,
go and see through stuff. Like he's already got it. He's already doing it. It's like, hey, thank you, Black conservative. Now I know about that when I wouldn't have.
I love it. I love it. Something else that helps out as well is actually doing scripting. Do you script? Because I know Shannon had like those questions were already planned out that
Mhm.
he was asking, so he wasn't like doing um, a secondary question necessarily. I've watched some of his posts, some of his interviews after that, and you see him asking much more secondary questions. Whereas
Mhm.
now it's just like throw out a question and let Katt talk for 10 minutes. Throw out another question, let Katt talk for 10 minutes. What do you script or what about yourself?
It depends. It depends on the video. There again, uh, I think when it's something that is time sensitive and you just want to get it out, I don't have time for that. I just want to do like a quick reaction. Some of my most successful videos, I actually wrote the whole thing
Wow.
and read it
Do you
from
have
a
a prompter?
teleprompter.
Do you have a
I
teleprompter?
d- I do. Well, I mean, you can get one for your iPad, so it's pretty. You can either do a teleprompter from a browser or from on an iPad. I think an iPad for me was easier, so that's how
Okay.
I did it. And then I had so basically my most viewed video to date. I read it was the one that I did with Teslin Figaro, Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, you probably you may not have been able to tell that I was reading it, or maybe you could
You're
tell.
just
Maybe now,
fantastic, man. You're a pro, man. Come on.
maybe now that I've said it, you'll go back and say, "Oh yeah, I can tell he was reading."
I'm
But
not gonna even do it.
but then I did another video where I spent an inordinate amount of time writing and editing, and nobody watched it.
That's gotta hurt.
And
That I hate that.
that's where I kind of got to the point where I was just like, I cannot put that sort of time and effort into a video that no one's going to watch. So I have to find the path of least resistance. And there again, it depends on what the content is. And I have like conceptual videos that I want to put out, but we talked about this as well.
Mhm.
At our level of our footprint, we don't drive the algorithm, right? Like
Correct.
big channels, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson,
Shannon
whoever,
Sharp.
Shannon Sharp, they can just say, this is what I'm talking about today. And then that'll start the trend.
Right.
Uh, for us, we often have to ride the wave of the algorithm. And so I might have something that is burning and pressing to me. And there actually, this is the tragic part. There actually might be a lot of other people who would greatly benefit from that content, but
For sure.
YouTube is looking at what is trending. So
Mhm.
they are just saying it's not that they're not necessarily saying your stuff's not relevant or important. It's just saying that's not what's trending, and so they're just going to jump on the bandwagon, which I find unfortunate, right? Because then it makes it hard for people to find your content on its own merits.
I got you.
So,
So something you had a lot of good points there. Something I've
mhm,
learned is I do one and done. Like I said, I'll
mhm.
just do a video. I'll announce this is one and done and it's in the can and it's out there.
Mhm.
But I do go back sometimes and edit that one and done video. But and so I've done that before as well, where I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I really would like to clean this up. One of the things, like for example, I realized I talk a lot more when I'm just doing a one and done video. I could cut out a
Mhm.
lot of this extra talking that I do. So I can cut it down and be a little bit more palatable. Something else
Mhm.
I've learned, and I followed Mr. Beast on this one. And he said, like, a lot of your video needs to be cut out. So I'll go through my crates and find a video that maybe I really liked. Like you were saying, like I really liked it. I spent a lot of time with it. I really thought it should have been a banger and it didn't do well. And I'll lay that thing on the operating table and I'll start slicing and dicing as I see fit. And I'll say, okay, I feel really good about this. And I've put that thing right back up. And I've done that several times and they've done better. Well, that could be because the audience has grown and they've never seen these videos. Because a lot of the times I've been on YouTube now for almost 3 years, or 2 years complete. And this will be my 3rd year. A lot of that stuff people have not gone back in there looking at. It's almost better than 1,600 videos in there. So if I find one that I really like myself, I'll put it back up and just give it another shot, another bite at the apple. Because at the moment, no, we don't have the luxury of just saying, I'm going to start a trend. I'm going to sit down and talk with this person, and that's going to drive the rest of people's conversation. Who was talking about Katt Williams before Shannon Sharpe?
Nobody.
Let's be honest. Let's tell the truth.
Whatever.
Say again?
No, he's just like a regular, I mean, just one amongst many comedians. He wasn't a standout.
Let's be honest. Who was talking about Monique before he had her on there? Nobody. Nobody. People were talking about Usher, but they had not been talking about Usher. And now, since the Super Bowl, everybody's talking about Usher. But guess what? That's only driving people to go back and look at what he did on Shannon Sharpe show. So he's like, he definitely can. They can create their own weather, which is great. So we just have to play in the weather that they create or try to create our own. So I've got several project videos that I've done that were not intended. That like this week being Valentine's week, I put up 2 videos of pastors talking about relations with their wives from the pulpit. One of them completely burned my channel, man. It's doing fantastic. Almost 22,000 views. Go check it out. Yeah. But and then the other one's doing pretty well as well. So I started making shorts from them. Those shorts are doing great. Check those out as well. Yeah. So but they were like a pet project. I just wanted to talk about it. It's not necessarily woke. It's not necessarily Black progressive Christianity. They are Black pastors, by the way. But and I recognize, like, I'm gonna do a pet project or something I want to talk about. And if it doesn't do well, then I'll just accept that. And it's maybe not what my people want. But the very last thing is I actually have a Discord group that people who support my channel through my Patreon, my Buy Me a Coffee, I send a lot of my videos to them and let them look at them. Like there's a video I literally sent them right before we went live. So I don't want to tell you what it's about, but gotta keep it secret, man. Gotta keep it a secret because there's a lot of people talking about it. Like, okay, I want to let some other folk look at it before I drop it, but it'll probably go tomorrow. But again, it gives them a chance to see it. They get the thumbnail. They can talk, give me some feedback, all that kind of stuff like that, and then push that joker out. So that's another way to kind of temp check your content.
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on, Mr. McFoy in the building? Good to see you, man. Grace and peace, sir. Good to see you, Christian thinking. Good to see you. All right. So those are a couple of, and we were, for those people that just jumped in, this is Todd Shannon from Todd Thinks, and he and I were just kind of unpacking as you see here, the Katt Williams interview on Club Shay. We wanted to see how are some ways that we as Christians can take some of the things that we learned or saw with Shannon Sharpe interviewing Katt Williams and apply it to a Christian platform. And again, because I think is it fair to say, Todd, that a video hitting 20,000 views on your channel would that be constituted as viral for you?
I call it hood viral. Yeah.
Okay. Why is it called hood viral? Help me out.
Yeah, because it's not technically viral. It's like like a lower level of viral. I just call it hood viral because it's kind of like hood rich.
Okay. Then I'm using the word viral wrong. How are you explaining viral? Because I'll tell you what my metric is to determine virality. But go, what?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, to me, it's just a shorthand way of saying, given the size of my channel, that would be viral. So
that's great.
Some multiple, if you get a video that is viewed some multiple of your subscriber base,
correct,
then that will be considered viral. So 20,000 views would be nothing for a 1 million subscriber channel, right?
That is correct. Right. But okay, so I've always gone with because I haven't been able to find a good definition. So I just use 5 times. So
Okay.
if your views go 5 times as much as your most popular video before, then it would be
I got you.
viral for you. So for
I
example,
like it.
let's just say I had all my videos have never gone above 5,000 views.
hmm
But I pop out a video about Katt Williams and it gets 80,000 views. Then that would be definitely viral for my channel.
Yeah.
So that would be my rationale. Or maybe even say viral for a short. If you have a short that gets 100,000 views, that would be easy to say that's a viral short, unless you're used to getting 100,000 view shorts. So that would be my rationale for that. It's not etched in stone. I haven't found a true definition. If you read 5 different commentators, you'll get 9 different definitions and equations for what is viral. So that's how I use it.
Yeah, my view, just a quick comment on that. My views on virality are evolving in that I've had several of those videos that would be considered viral,
Nice.
5, 10, 20x my subscriber base or whatever the last video was. And they pull in a lot of subscribers. But what I note is that I know that it actually doesn't pull in who I would consider a core subscriber, right? A person who is going to really watch and consume the majority of my content, right? That's because you have probably a small percentage of your subscriber base that is like your core audience, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
So for example, I have a short that I did that I don't know. It must be I want to say it's well over 200,000 views. Let me see here. What is this?
Can I borrow it? You think I can borrow it?
You can.
No,
Let me see.
Do that, man.
It's basically, remember when that Jason Aldean did that one?
Yeah.
Video? Yeah. So it was basically me remixing the Jason Aldean song, right?
I remember
and
that.
I got so upset because that video would have been when I did a review of the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town.
For sure.
That's when I had less than 1,000 subscribers
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And it got like 40,000 views in like a day and a half.
Yep.
And YouTube squashed it. And I was so furious. They made it restricted for no one under 18 could even see it. And they stopped basically promoting it in the algo.
YouTube. You gotta love it, YouTube.
You gotta love it. Yeah, because I don't even understand what their nonsense rationale was. But I said, oh yeah, it's got almost 300,000. Try that in a small town, 294,000 views. So my reaction was to do that because I was so angry that they and it actually I think made up for a lot of what was missing. But the thing is that I got a lot of subs from that, but almost none of them watched my content.
Okay.
Right.
So all right. So all right. And so somebody was asking. So Todd and myself are Christian YouTube content creators. We were looking at the Shannon Sharp, Katt Williams interview because it seems to be a really good example of how to manage your content and grow your audience and your influence. So we weren't going to be talking specifically about things that Katt said in the interview per se, but rather just talking about the overall, what did we get from it? Because there's a lot that you can take away from it that I think can be applied. I know I've been applying the things that I've been talking about today, and I've seen those things become beneficial. So one of the things I know for a fact is that live streams like this are good opportunities for people to hear your voice and to determine that they like you.
Yeah.
So I would say if you've got when you get a huge influx of subscribers, you need to do a live stream where you say, hey, welcome to the new, the Todd Army, the new 20,000 members of the Todd Army that joined this week. Welcome, everybody. Let's give them a shout out. We drop in air horns. We just let them know what kind of person you are. Congratulate them for hitting that like button and subscribing, all that kind of stuff. Kudos to you. but
Right.
let them know who you are and what you're about, and reintroduce yourself to them. That's the best way to do it. And then your
Yep.
videos, because shorts are for the growth, for the subscribers. Your videos are
Sure.
for your, I'm sorry, shorts are for to bring in subscribers. Your videos are
Mhm.
for your audience, and then your
Mhm.
live streams are to introduce yourself and establish your voice. That's how I've understood it, and that's why I've been
Mhm.
like kind of going gangbuster with the live streams lately, to really
Yeah.
well, first of all, also to learn this blessed eCam thing, but also to just help people. I've had a lot of new people join, so them to hear, okay, who's this guy and what's he about?
hmm Yeah,
And
yeah, no, that's I just gonna say I'm a novice. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out myself. I do know that I do need to use the live stream feature more. I
you
had a
got to,
couple. I had some
you got to,
difficulty with a
man.
couple of them where my audio wasn't right, and then I kind of got a little gun shy, and I was just like, man, every time I go live, something goes wrong.
Mm.
Or like I was trying to share my screen one time, and my screen wouldn't share. Like kind of like the little technical
Mine
difficulty
ain't
you
showing.
have,
Mine ain't showing now. I mean, just like whatever, man. I don't care. Whatever,
right?
man.
So I just like, oh man, I just want to be able to control everything, and I don't know, maybe that's not the right way.
But I
But
think, but it goes to the point. Another point on my list here is just being authentic. And when you're being transparent, say, hey, look, we just coming here. I'm quick to do a mic check. If people that follow me, I'll just turn the camera on real quick and be like, look, do I sound okay? Okay, good. You guys have a blessed night. And this, look, I know I'm not trying to pretend like I have it all together. That's why I don't shoot
Mhm.
from my own studio, because I know I'm gonna mess up over there. So at least I know here at the house I can do it correctly. So
Mhm.
hey man, whatever, man. You better turn that camera on and be quiet. I
It's
just
hilarious.
just have fun, man. It don't matter. I, I mean, we're gonna get better, but ultimately our focus is not on us at the end of the day anyway. The focus is on
Mhm.
Christ. So if as long as my message about Christ is pretty ironed out, I'm good with the rest of it. We'll just
Mm.
let the rest of it, let the chips fall where they may. But as long as my message of Christ is in the right direction, I'm good.
Yep, absolutely.
Uh, yeah, absolutely. Look, McFoy, I agree. You need to go live a whole lot more. Look, when I first started, I was doing a whole bunch of challenges. I would challenge myself to, do a video a day, or
Mhm.
just a whole bunch of crazy stuff, like all these little challenges. And one of them was go live like twice a week. Man, that helped out a whole bunch. That fixed a lot of my problems. It's just, you know what, I can do this. Look, this is probably the third time I went live today. So I just have fun, man. So you should go live more. Who's David? That Miss David. What's up, David? Good to see you, man. All right. So yeah, if you're just jumping in, Todd from Todd Thinks and myself, we're just kind of going over some of the things that we gleaned from the infamous Katt Williams interview, and that what we believe can be applied for Christians even in their own respective space. So of course we were talking about how Shannon Sharp is amazing. His team is amazing at creating one big giant interview that can be used in hundreds of, dare I say, hundreds of thousands of different ways. And like the stats right here, because this stat was only after 13 days, it's gone up higher. I think they're at like 55 million views. And I'm sure all these other numbers are different. So it's just like
Mm.
amazing how they were able to do that and chop those shorts up. Chop that large interview up into breakout moments, and then shorts, and then TikToks and Instagrams and tweets. I mean, it's
Mhm.
all over the place. So it's just stuff that we believe that we as content creators could glean from it, and then ultimately apply on our own platforms and such of that nature.
Mhm.
But you got anything else you want to add about that?
No, man. No, that's about it on that topic.
So one of the things though, a lot of people like to ask, how much money did they make? And it's really, first thing we need to do is call Shannon and just ask him. Now he said he got paid. They brought an 18-wheeler to the studio. That's how he said they delivered his check to him. So I don't know if that might be, as the kids like to say, cap. But if you wanted to, you could. There's tons of different people who've done like their own, because you don't know for a fact, but you
Right.
can take the 50 million right there. You can divide it by 1,000, and that will tell you um, how many mills are in his that Shannon Sharp got, and mills are just views per thousand. And then
Yeah.
from there, it's fair to say they probably made about $12 to $20 per mill. So if you take that 50 million divided by 1,000, you're going to get 500. Is it 500? Yeah, my mathing real
I
quick,
think so.
and then just divide it by the lowest number. So if we said $15, then you would just divide it by that, and that's how you come up with about what Shannon Sharp probably made off of that. Which is, again, we're just speculating, but it is kind of fun to see, like, oh man, this guy. We watched this in real time. We watched this guy. It was 50,000. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's just say
Right.
his cost per mill is $15. Yikes, $750,000. And that's just from YouTube. So that's not including Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any of those other things. That's just from YouTube. And then also, very last thing is, you see that little logos up at the top, DraftKings. I don't know what the V is. What's that V? Do you know?
I do not know.
Okay. Well, those are sponsors as well. So they paid to be right there. So that's yet another stream of income that Shannon Sharp used. And it's impressive, to say the least, man. I think it's impressive. But no, that was dope, man. Thank you. All right. You want to cause some trouble now?
Let's.
Oh, I got to find the video though. All right. So now we are totally shifting gears. So I'm going to close out the talking about Shannon Sharp. We're going to get off of that. And I don't know if you've been keeping up in these YouTube streets and the world streets, but there's been a little kerfuffle here in Atlanta. Todd, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Want to warm them up?
Oh man, a little kerfuffle there. Well, I like to say, Fanny, are you okay?
Fanny, are you okay?
Fanny, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Fanny? Let me just tell you, Fanny is obviously not okay.
Fanny's not okay.
The saddest thing about Fanny is that she got propped up by a bunch of, obviously, in my opinion, a bunch of false converts, a bunch of people in this dead and unconverted black church that has become basically a cesspool of just political ideology masquerading as Christianity.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother topic of discussion, but kind of the vestige of the Martin Luther King model of Christianity. And it's amazing that, I had to be, in my 40s before I realized that Martin Luther King wasn't even a Christian, but that's another topic. I know some of y'all might take exception to that.
You got some people upset right there, man.
Yeah, but see, it's exactly right on the nose, right? Because this is why the Fannie Willises of the world, this is why they exist. And this is why they have so much support in the black church, is because we have conflated political ideology and pursuits with Christianity. And the two are not the same thing, obviously, not even close to the same, not even the same kind of thing.
Right.
It's like you got cats, which are mammals, and dogs, which are mammals. And it's still kind of similar, the same kind of thing. This is like cats and jellyfish, right? They're not even, we're talking about invertebrates and
Right, I totally get you.
Not even the same kind of thing. So Fannie Willis completely embarrassing herself, embarrassing black people, in my opinion, although I'm not going to say she speaks for me in any meaningful way. But Fannie Willis has basically been a pawn for the Democrat Party, and she's embarrassing herself. And they put her up to basically, I think, a task that was never going to succeed in the first place. And now we're seeing how these people are being hand selected. I think they preferred the incompetent ones, to be quite honest, because they're easier to control. Because the people who are competent are saying, "I don't need you to succeed, so I'm not going to take your strings attached offer to, quote, boost my career and put me up to some task that probably is going to wreck me. I don't need that. I'm good. Right. So I think the incompetent and the low skilled people are ripe targets to be used. They're what they call useful idiots. And I think just walk right into their trap. And now she's exposed.
I totally got you. I
So-
agree. No, I think you make some great points. Fannie Willis is here in Atlanta. So right here in Fulton County, I'm in Cobb County. So just south of me. And yeah, it's interesting. I'm finding it interesting, the pushback that I'm hearing. 'Cause I'm not hearing as much, she represented well. If you're not familiar, Fannie Willis is on, she's currently in trouble because she's dating somebody who she hired to help prosecute the case against Trump here in Georgia. Though I don't feel like the case itself against Trump was solid. I don't know why they picked her, because it seems like an open secret that she was in this relationship with this man. And I think that's part of the setup, is that they picked her because she has a huge Achilles heel, a huge one, that there's no way to get over this. Because, I mean, there's a lot of impropriety right there. And the man is married. So she's single, or divorced rather, and he's married. And it just seemed crazy, man. It just seemed like she was set up for that, set up to fail. And she did exactly what she did, which is fail. Was it Thursday? So yeah, Thursday, she, her former boyfriend was being deposed for his role in the qualification trial.
Are they not together anymore?
Right. She said they weren't together anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of bad jokes that could be had in there as well. I think, this is a great question. Somebody asked her, do you think she's going to get disbarred? Okay. I'm going to save that. So I found this young lady's TikTok, and I thought she was a fantastic summary of a lot of the things that people saw, and a lot of the things encapsulated. Now, if you want to, April did a bang up job on last night discussing this topic as well. So go check out April at the Standard of Truth podcast. She had a fantastic video on this topic, and just the role. But I think it's interesting. A lot of people, I'm just intrigued, because I don't think men paid attention to a lot of the things that women saw in Fannie. I think you know where I'm going here. I don't think men pay attention to that stuff like that. Guys, we'll wear a wrinkly t-shirt and balled up jeans and don't care. But every woman I heard from saw and recognized the same problem that this young lady's going to say it too. But I just thought it was really interesting. And so I want to just check it out. And I also want to confirm that you can hear it. So let's make sure it works right.
Willis hearing. Fannie Willis is the district attorney from Fulton County.
Everybody can hear?
That was in a relationship with her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. Why is she relevant? She became.
All right. Can you hear that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to give this up. Just going to back up as I always do. Just back up, give a running start. But I thought her summary of a lot of the things that we saw were good. And I want to bring them up. So I want to let her talk it out. So let's go. Let's go.
Some takeaways from my watching the Fannie Willis hearing. Fannie Willis is the district attorney from Fulton County that was in a relationship with her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. Why is she relevant? She became a big deal because she's the district attorney that is prosecuting Donald Trump's voter fraud case. So here are my takeaways after watching this hearing for 2 days. The first takeaway is it's probably not a good idea to date contractors that you have hired. This proved to be a terrible idea, especially if you're trying to prosecute an ex-president of the United States.
And I just want to jump in because it seems pretty clear to me after reading up on this, this was an open secret. Like everybody knew that she was dating this guy. So it wasn't anything new, which I think is really telling. Again, it just plays into, I think she was set up to fail. So it can always fall back on her and her incompetence in this realm. But like y'all knew she was messing with this guy, and he was married, which, that's beside the point. We're not gonna even get into that because I'm like, great day. Like some of the stuff they were talking about, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like me and my own wife don't argue about this stuff. Y'all arguing that y'all not even married. That's crazy. Like, it was wild. It was wild. It's all get out. All right. Did you have anything you want to say before we let her go?
No.
So we can always.
You're prosecuting big names. You have to know that these people have resources and they're going to dig in your background as well. They don't just lay down when they have billions of dollars at their disposal. Second takeaway is, if you don't have to be put under the microscope, why would you volunteer to go under the microscope?
This is something that I didn't realize. I think she's going to say it in a second. Fani was not being, she wanted to come up and come to the witness stand. She wasn't being called. She wanted to come up and say, hey, I want to set the record straight because you said this, that, and the third, and I need to make sure you know. That's why I was like, when I turned it on and she was standing next to the cameraman, like, why is she standing there with her hand on her hip looking really, she's going to say it in a second, like you want to take your earrings off. It was wild, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say was that I realized right away that it was political theater. It's, she wanted to come off as defiant and confident. It was all a put on. I think she knows that she was being squeezed. And to her point, where she said, if you don't have to be put under the microscope, you want to avoid it. Well,
absolutely.
That's the case if you're in the clear.
Right.
If you're clearly painted into a corner and you're taking L's, then you get desperate and you start doing things that are basically Hail Marys. They're risky, and you're hoping that you can basically drum up enough political theater to basically, it's a red herring. It kind of takes people off your scent.
Yes.
That's the only reason why you would do that, because if she was winning, then she would have never took the stand.
Never. But, and it kind of goes to a point that this approach that I'm untouchable, and how dare you? Because Nathan, I watched his testimony. He was fairly reasonable, and I was like, he wants you to like him. He wants the judge to like him, and though the prosecuting attorneys are his enemies, he was not trying to come across to them as bombastic, or dare I say that I could see like, oh, that wasn't a bad guy. Maybe he's not as bad as we thought he was. That's the kind of way I would have approached it, but I'm not an attorney, so I don't play one on television. On the contrast, Fanny, whatever, she didn't want you to like her. She said, you and your liking can get up out of here. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to, how dare you? And represent me this kind of way, yelling back at the attorney, you lied. It was wild.
I felt like I was just like, how come she's not in contempt? Like, are you supposed to be able to run up in the courtroom like you had some house party in the hood talking to some chick that was acting too nice to your man?
Right.
Like, I don't understand how she was so classless. And so it's like, she's like, I don't know who she thought she was appealing to, but I thought it was a disgrace.
So I don't remember who it was. There were a lot of people that wanted to, because we're here in Georgia, and I don't know if you noticed, but there were a lot of people who are less melanin in the courtroom, and there were few people in there of high melanin. So how I understood it, a lot of people were trying to do kid gloves because they know it's going to come back.
Exactly.
It's going to be the white man did this to the black woman, blah, 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 blah. And so they were trying their best to not do that. And you know it when there's a part where the Trump attorney, he's a man, asked her about relationships with Nathan Wade. And she says, well, because of his cancer, you know that would be, that's a preposterous proposition. He said, what? I will not emasculate a black man. He's like, what are you talking? You hear it when he replied back. He said, what? Like, I could hear him probably using profanity in his mind. Like, what are you talking about? She made it
So,
racial after she just said that the guy had ED because of his cancer. Like, yo, like you brought that up. And please understand, everybody knows this now because of you. Nobody else did that. And you can see it even when they were using words like relationships and any other time when they were trying to say, has he ever been in a place where you laid your head? They were trying their very best to kid glove her. So that's what I think happened, because she is the DA of Georgia, for crying out loud. She's pretty
Right.
powerful. So I think that's
ju-
why.
Just on that point though, Jason, here's the thing. I've been, and I just, for those of you watching, you can go check the timeline. Go back to my channel. I've been on this.
You've been in jail? Oh.
No. I've been on this for a long time. Why the left loves black women.
Oh, for sure.
It's precisely for that reason, that they can put all kinds of nonsense in their mouth. They can put a battery in their back. And these people, they can go out and say the most absurd and irrational and implausible things. And if you respond to them and treat the idiocy with the disrespect it deserves, now you're attacking a black woman.
Yeah.
And that's always the defense, right? Nothing on the substance, right? But this is why they prefer. It's like, I used this one example. I don't know if it's, I used to watch Austin Powers. I don't know if you were into the Austin Powers movies.
Not really, but
we don't have anything in common, Jason. But anyway, there's this great scene in Austin Powers where at the beginning he's talking to his female protagonist, and she's like, "Austin, we have to go find Dr. Evil." And he goes, "I've got an idea," and he turns and he punches this woman in the face, right? And he's like, "Austin, why did you punch that woman in the face?" And he said, "Yeah, listen, baby, that ain't no woman. It's a man, right?" And so the idea was, so they set it up like that, right? They set it up like that, but later on in the film, he did it again, and it was an actual woman. It was an old lady.
No.
So he punches this old lady in the face, and so the point is that if you punch somebody in the face, and because you think that they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, or you think they're posing as something that they aren't, you better be sure that what's underneath is actually what you think.
Okay.
Right?
Got you.
And that's why they like to put their ideas in the mouths of people who can be perceived as victims or vulnerable, so that you are reticent to attack them.
I like it. I got you.
What they are effectively wolves in sheep's clothing. And so you need to have discernment to know the difference between an actual person who you need to treat with some sort of dignity and respect, and a person who's fraudulent and they need to be punched in the face.
I did not see that one coming. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
I did not see that coming. All right, let's see this. Let's see where this young lady's going.
At the point when Miss Willis entered the courtroom, it was not determined that she had to testify. She wanted to. She entered the courtroom like she was about to throw hands up. And I'm like, really? This is not a good look already. So the whole goal was to get in there and stand on business and let the world know that I'm running. Not really. In efforts to prove the timeline, not her innocence, because she admitted to having sex with Nathan Wade, but she got up there and just started running her mouth. And as a prosecutor herself, she knows that's a gift. It's a gift.
And I want to say that as well. She would not answer questions and just say yes, no, whatever.
No.
Let me explain. Like, and of course, the prosecutor's not going to stop her. And I think even at one point, her own attorney said, "I object." She said, "I object to you. What is going on here?" It was wild, man.
Unbelievable.
When you're a prosecutor, not when you're sitting and testifying in a hearing about yourself. I saw a lot of TikTok videos where people was like, yeah, she got up there. She told them she stood on business. Yeah, did you hear her? Yeah, she didn't pull no punches, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. And to the point, I think for her downfall, somebody asked you, I think she's going to get disbarred. I don't know, But what she's about to say right here causes me to think that maybe she will.
Mm.
And it is 100% Fannie's own fault.
Yeah.
Like, nobody made her do this. Watch what she says.
But I just wondered if those people heard her say that she took money from her campaign, took cash, and put it in her house. Did they miss that part?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Right. And guess what? Nathan did too. Nathan did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, Nathan. Well, Nathan's was actually different. Nathan said he used his business credit card to buy trips. And you can do that. Like, the accountant can separate your business expenses from your personal use of your business card. Not a problem there. But what did he say she did? She paid him back. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so the attorney said, well, is there like a deposit in your bank account showing that she paid you, $2,000 or, $1,500, whatever like that? What did he say he did? He spent it. On what? I don't know. So we'll just assume that he spent it just as like living expenses. You can't do that. So they both, so to the one question, do I think they're going to get disbarred? Sadly, I think they are. I think this will be the linchpin, because and Fonnie did one more thing too that I think, in my mind, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer or anything of that nature. I don't really have a dog in the race, but Fonnie did one more thing too that I think, it's going to be hard for you to not at least get some kind of injunction, some kind of fines, or maybe even lose your ability to do this job. But go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is, with respect to all of this stuff, I think it's important to remember that this whole thing is a Hail Mary. The whole Trump prosecution thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is a Hail Mary. And I think that they knew that even in the best of circumstances, the chances of winning were very low. So think about the sort of person that would be willing to take that on.
Yeah.
Like, basically a very low percentage of winning. Not a lot of successful people are going to be like, I'm going to put that blemish on my record. Remember that line, the famous line, I think it was from The Wire. I've never watched the show, but people always talk about
watching some of the craziest stuff, man. I've
never watched it. I never watched it, but
The Wire.
It's something that's been repeated. If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Okay.
You ever heard that line?
I have not, but I can dig it.
Yeah. So basically the idea is that if you go after the king, you best not miss. So, like, who's the sort of person that would be willing to take that sort of risk? It's only somebody who's at a level where basically it's all upside for them. And that means that's even a loss would be a win.
Would be a win, yeah.
So that's how I think Fannie really got wrapped into this thing. She didn't have, apparently, I don't think, the talent and the ability to rise up the ranks on her own. They hooked her with this, clown show lawsuit.
Okay.
And she fell for it. And now she might be not able to practice at all. But that's what was, if you think about it, only someone in her situation would have even considered it. Like, who else would take that blemish on their record?
I mean, I can see what you're saying. Okay. You know what?
So,
I got to give you some of that.
Says Trump is guilty.
I mean,
that's a whole nother question.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not, what is it? It's whether or not you can prove he's guilty. Is that?
Can I just say this?
Somebody said it. Nino Brown said it. I don't know. Somebody said it.
Yeah. Can I just say this? Because I think that this is probably something that most people don't know. This is very interesting because I was talking to my father-in-law some months ago, and he didn't know anything about this. Do you remember the night of the election at State Farm Arena when they stopped voting?
Counting.
What was the reason they stopped? Do you recall?
I don't remember now, but I know they woke up the next morning and Nikki wasn't there.
Right. So they stopped counting because they said a pipe burst in State Farm Arena. And so they had to kind of, get the people out of there so that they could deal with the burst pipe.
Okay. I
That
don't remember
never
that. Okay.
that never happened. I covered it on my channel. You can go to it and look back in 2020. I covered the whole story. That was a lie. The pipe burst, and it was a pipe leak. It wasn't a pipe burst. It was a minor thing, and it happened the previous day.
Okay.
That was their reason for saying that they needed to stop counting. Then they told the people, well, go home. We've done counting for the night. And then when all the poll watchers left, they kept counting. Now, think about that. Think about that. Those are documented facts. And I say that to say, because Sheila Mahone saying Trump is guilty. What people do not know and they don't understand is that there were very, very good reasons to think that shenanigans were afoot on the night of the election in Atlanta in particular.
Right.
So that's my whole point. My whole point is that they lied about the reason they stopped counting. They lied that they were going to stop counting after they sent the poll watchers home. Why would you do that if everything was on the up and up? Now, that's not a smoking gun, but if you're going to say that Donald Trump was guilty of trying to gin up false votes and he had no reason to think that there was something fraudulent going on, I'll just say you just don't know what you're talking about, because that's not true.
I got you. Okay.
Anyway.
No, that's good. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep this rolling. Let's keep it going.
They know that's not legal, right? The third takeaway that I learned is, if you have a public position, you don't have a private life. It's not a great idea to testify that you didn't know the code of ethics. As a district attorney and an attorney, I think she should know that ignorance is no defense.
Right. And that's the other part that I think that's gonna get her in deep suit. They ask her, did she let them know? Because a superior having an affair with or a relationship with a subordinate is no go. But apparently, you can at least like declare it, like, hey, I'm CEO man and I'm dating the secretary. Like, you can let it be known. And I guess It's not as bad. I don't know. That's what I wasn't clear, but apparently, like, she made it sound like she didn't know. Like, oh no, like no. So that's why I think, to answer Person's question, I do think that she's gonna have a hard 2024 for sure. If she gets out of this unscathed, I would be really surprised. We already see what happened to the DA in Maryland. Very similar situation.
Sure.
But I don't know if she was as bombastic. But anyway, but a very similar situation. I don't know if Fannie is going to make it out of here, though. Just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Thing is, you can't say that your relationship wasn't hidden, that it was just private. It's not private when the person that you're in the relationship has a whole damn wife.
Oh.
Not just a wife, but a wife that's in the middle of a divorce with income disclosures.
Yeah, and that part right there was so grimy for him. I didn't like that. We functionally were divorced, but we were on paper. I mean, that was grimy.
Come on.
Yeah,
that was so pathetic.
It was
pathetic. Yeah.
All right, let us go.
Not divorced. It came out yesterday that their divorce has not been finalized.
That's the other part. Like, you ain't like halfway divorced. Like, because he tried to put like some years behind it. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on that. It was like 5 years that he had said, like, we've been functionally divorced for like 5 years. But you haven't gotten divorced yet, sir. There's the problem. You've not gotten divorced. All right.
The fourth takeaway I learned is, you could take a person out the hood, but you always can't get the hood out that person. Why do I say that? Because there are a lot of law degrees on the line right now. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into getting those law degrees and passing that damn bar exam. And you're getting up there on the stand and putting all that at risk. Terrence Bradley was the partner of Nathan Wade in the law firm.
All right, this is This is another one. I actually forgot this one. So this is yet another reason why I don't think Nathan's going to come out unscathed, even though I think he probably won't be as bad as Fani, in my opinion. But this is another thing. I totally forgot about this. Were you trying to give her an air horn? I know you were trying to.
Oh no, I was just saying how I just thought it was interesting because Fanny, however you say her name,
Right.
she totally came off as completely like just like hood. Like
Yeah,
she didn't. Yeah, I'm just like, come on, you up here, you know, talking to these white folks.
boy, you out of control. You out of control.
sounding ghetto and tacky. Like I don't understand. Like you don't understand. Like even if that's how you talk amongst your folks, like you don't know how to code switch. It's not. It's like,
she
like,
knows
come
how
on,
to,
man.
but she was upset. There's no question about it.
She probably pandered. She probably thinking that earned her some hood points.
Well, yeah, but the problem is
hood
you're gonna need them hood points. You're gonna need them when you go back, when you get sent back there.
Yeah.
Hey Todd, in the chat, can you drop your link for your YouTube channel?
Oh, sure.
I meant to ask people to make sure they check you out as well. Especially since you done told them all this bad stuff, so they can go over to your channel and fuss at you. All right, they can come over there and fuss at you. I'm about to go to bed. All right, let's keep this game rolling. Let's go.
So they got him up on the stand and eviscerated his, and they're not done. He tried to bring that code of silence, no snitching rule under the guise of attorney-client privilege. He tried to bring that up on the stand, and they cornered that. Bruh, you at risk for perjury. They're not done with you. It was effortless. It was effortless the way they got it. They asked him if he was the attorney that did Nathan Wade's divorce papers. He said yes. Yes, he was. And he had been asserting attorney-client privilege from 2017, 2018. The defense was not going for that broad right there. Those broad dates in that wide open space, they wasn't going for that. So they said, what date did you sign the engagement? I don't know. You don't know when you took on a new client? You don't know how much you charged the new client for the divorce? Nope. I don't have it in front of me. We in a digital world, dude. We're in a digital world. And you're an attorney too? I don't know who the hell been hiring you. But they got his. So then they go on to say, okay, you don't know the dates. How much did you make? How much did you invoice Nathan Wade for your services for the divorce? I don't know. So now it looks like he perjured himself, because he said in earlier testimony that he left that law firm due to something that falls under attorney-client privilege, and it had to do with Nathan Wade's divorce, which is not true. We know that's not true because Nathan Wade is still married. That came out yesterday, late in the afternoon. And the other part is the state got up and said, have you been accused of sexual assault by an employee at the law firm? So he admitted that he did do that, and he said that he left because of that. And he had left $20,000 in escrow. And they asked him, did he pay her off, the employee? And first he said no, he didn't pay her off. And they said, okay, so you just left the law firm with $20,000 in escrow. Is that right? Which didn't make any damn sense, so, they had him. Then he finally admitted that he paid her off for the sexual assault. Now you're probably like, what the hell does this have to do with Fani Willis? Okay, so now that they got him to admit that, and then a second person came forward, they had her ready to testify, but he had already got off the stand. So I don't know what's going to happen with that next week. But because he admitted that he didn't leave the law firm because of something related to Nathan Wade's divorce, next week they're going to figure out if they're going to make him testify about what he really knows about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade's relationship, because there is no attorney-client privilege as it seems right now. Also, there's no engagement. There's no agreement where he signed on as the attorney. So I don't know what's going to happen next week.
That was long, but the summation is that gentleman was not Nathan's attorney for his divorce. Because also, if you did the math, if he was saying 2017, dude, it's been 7 years. Like, what's going on? So, I mean, that already is problematic. But I think the big issue is that he now has somebody else who can very well have to be grilled on the stand in order to talk about their relationship, which already seemed like it was way out of pocket. They were doing wrong things, and now it's coming back to bite them. But what you think?
I think that first of all, this lady, whoever she is, I'm assuming she's an attorney.
Actually, she's a corporate coach. I found her TikTok. I mean, she seems like she's top tier. Like, she knows what she's talking about clearly. Yeah. But I'll have to find her again. But I found her on TikTok, and she seemed like she's a corporate coach, career coach. Sorry. But she seemed to know what she's talking about. So, and take this with a grain of salt.
Right.
What were you gonna say?
I thought. Well, I just thought her. I thought her. She gave what I would call cogent analysis. Yes, cogent analysis for sure. Oh, yeah, no, I thought it was. I thought that was thorough, and obviously, I didn't have time to watch the details closely. I saw, Fanny embarrassing herself and trying to come off as someone who was defiant and in control of the process when she clearly is not. She clearly is desperate. And on her last leg, she at a minimum will be disgraced and be removed from processing or prosecuting Trump in this case, which will basically throw a monkey wrench in all of their plans, much to the chagrin of our guest here in the chat, who seems to be very anti-Trump. He's going to be president again, for barring any issues. But the point is that she's lost. It's over. And I think that even every honest person, and I think this is a good case in point. Here we are talking about Fannie Willis, and people are talking about Trump. Even if everything you're saying about Trump is true, it doesn't have anything to do with Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis is over, right? And I think that honest people can just acknowledge that. No, what Fannie Willis did was immoral. It was unethical. She played herself. I think it's good to have a conversation about the broader implications of what's going on. But generally speaking, what happens to Trump happens to Trump. Fannie Willis is a dishonest person, and she played herself.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah. And please keep in mind, she's also prosecuting a racketeering street gang here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And she actually served up a great excuse when she said how much money she keeps in her house. Because that was part of the problem, was that this was a rap group that dealt with a lot of cash. She literally said, at one point, she's like, I don't even know how much money I got in my house.
I got to tell you, I thought she was snitching on herself in a different way. I'm just like, you trying to tell all the thugs to come to your house?
Well, yeah, there's that problem. There's that problem too. Yeah. She does. Yeah. It was a lot. Like, are you for real? I got 20,000. Like, no, ma'am. Stop this. Please stop.
Like, you want the whole hood to be at your crib. Like, run the June, Fanny.
Junebug is on his way. All right, let's go.
I know I went off on a tangent, but I guess my point is all that keeping it real, some you gotta leave behind, okay? Yeah. I ain't say forget where you came from, but that still ain't for you, because now you in different spaces and everything you work for is on the line, and not in a good way.
Right.
Oh yeah, and Nathan Wade is on the line because they got him for perjury already. Terrence Bradley got up there and contradicted him with the credit card use. The fifth takeaway is, do not use business credit cards for personal use and then tell the world about it. So Nathan Wade and Fonnie both testified in this hearing that Nathan Wade purchased tickets on the business credit card, and then she reimbursed him in cash. So their stories are aligning, because obviously they talked about it, and they're trying to cover themselves because they're more slicker than my man Rick. No. So all those people that felt like, yeah, she went in there and stood on business. Yeah, she went in there and stood on the wrong side of business.
Yes, she did.
Because when you use business credit cards, it should be for business. They said they used it for a trip for his birthday because she had such a terrible 50th birthday. She wanted him to have a great birthday, and he had a cancer diagnosis and blah, blah, blah. But they used the business credit card, and then she reimbursed him in cash with no paper trail, and she's not giving up those records, right? So, yeah, she stood on business. We just not sure what side of the business. Now there's talk of tax evasion, right? And then here's the other thing. Nathan Wade testified he never, ever used any credit cards belonging to Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley got up there and said, yes, Nathan Wade did use his credit cards. And the sixth takeaway wasn't a huge takeaway for me, because I know to wear a bra when I'm coming outside. I know that. So I look forward to next week to see what else happens.
Oh my gosh, man, that was wild. But I agree with her, man. I think she summarized, as you said, she had a very coherent and cogent breakdown. I thought it was pretty good.
I like it.
But I don't think most guys picked up the whole the whole undergarment discussion. Everybody I've heard mention it were women. I didn't even notice it. I didn't notice it until April said it to me, and I was like,
I think it'd be weird. I think it'd be weird if you did notice it there, Jason.
Well, there's that. I'm like, I don't know what are you talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna. I don't want to see it. So I'm just like, now if I see her again, I'm gonna be like, how did they know that? All right. Yeah. So I thought, it's bizarre. I think Fanny, black people, listen. This is one of the big reasons why I started my channel.
Break it down.
Black people, we have to learn how to separate the truth and stand on the right side of the truth rather than standing with people who have your melanin count. We've got to get past that. We have to get past that. That's how we are basically digging ourselves into a hole, ethnically, financially, socially, all of these things. We got to be able to be the sort of people who have the sort of integrity, and particularly black people in church, because you can't expect to hold the world to the same account, right? But I feel like the black church in particular, where was the first place that Fannie Willis ran when she wanted to try to hide and justify her dirt?
Hey, you know what? Because I want to jump in real quick and say something. We need to do a compilation of disgraced politicians speaking from pulpits. I like to call it spiritual money laundering, because they go, they take their bad, as soon as they get in trouble, Fannie ran to Big Bethel AME. As soon as they get in trouble, politicians run to a black church to speak from the pulpit. The young lady in Maryland did it. I want to say Tiffany Henyard up in Illinois did it. The one in Michigan, the mayor in Michigan that was wilding out. They all do it. They run to the black church to rehabilitate their persona, to rehabilitate their character, so to speak. And then, because again, Fannie sat in there and said all this stuff was a lie. She was saying that she did not have a relationship with Nathan Wade like that from the pulpit, but she made everything else. So anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to do a spiritual money laundering episode where we just highlight everybody who has done this, and just maybe even do like a follow-up, like where did they end up, in jail or wherever, disbarred. But I think it would be really interesting to do.
I like it. You know, I used to I use this uh, kind of long metaphor of the winter. So once again, I love pop culture movie references. The Winter Soldier, Marvel. I don't know if have you seen that movie. Please tell me you've
Yes,
seen that.
I did see Winter Soldier. Let's go. Give me some.
All
Give
right,
me some love.
thank
Give me
you.
some love.
Yeah, let me give you a round of applause right there. Let me give you a little love here. Hang on a second. I gotta find my button here. Oh,
You got
there we
Stream
go.
Deck?
There we go. Jason. So the Winter Soldier, the Winter Soldier is an interesting metaphor because that basically Hydra, the evil organization, was controlling his mind, but he was really a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when they would do that little thing, that little mind control thing, he'd go into this murderous thing, and they basically were controlling him. And then his friend, Captain America, Cap, basically had to fight his friend Bucky in order to snap him out of it.
Right.
So that's how I feel. That's my relationship with the black community and the black church in particular. I feel like I'm Captain America to the Winter Soldier. I'm fighting you, but I'm not fighting you because I think you're the enemy. I'm fighting you because I'm trying to get you to understand
I like it.
that there's an evil organization controlling your mind.
Wow.
They're controlling your mind. And all they got to do is cry racism, and you put up with, drag queen story hour and all types of lies and all types of wickedness, and you voting to put these people in power that got the middle finger to the heaven because you say you standing with black people. It's a lie. So I'm Captain America to the black church's Winter Soldier.
I got you.
I'm only fighting. I'm not fighting you to hurt you. I'm fighting you because I need you to snap out of it. And hopefully we get you back on the right team. We'll get you back on the Avengers here in a moment. But that's the analogy.
I can dig that. I can dig that. You're giving them a lot of grace. I think that the black church has been compromised for quite some time. And I do think we still need to fight for them. But I do think we also need to recognize that they have been given over in part or in whole to ideologies that are contrary to Scripture. And there are other melanin groups as well, but that have issues. So it's not just, we're not just picking on black folk, but
right.
I think we're speaking about black folk, one, because we are black, but two, there's not many other churches that we define like we define black church. You don't call Hispanic church or white church or Asian church anything. Black church is just its own special animal. So that's why we talk about it. But yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that analogy that you use. That's a good one.
Yeah, I do think. Just to say one thing about that. That's part of the reason why I said earlier. Remember earlier that I wanted to speak to Bishop Patrick Wooden because he is still a part of the black church, and
for sure.
Church of God in Christ is the largest black church in North America, maybe in the world.
I think so. I think it's the world.
Yeah. So I basically got saved in the Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
I hadn't been in the Church of God in Christ since I was maybe 27, 28 years old. But I, like, my sister is still my sister and her husband's a pastor. And I still know a lot of people who love God.
Absolutely.
But the echo chamber is so enormous and strong that it really is. It's a type of mind control, and it's going to take a Herculean effort to get the people to snap out of it. But I think the proceedings in the last few years I hopefully the experience of the last 4 years where we got the sheer insanity of the far left and wokeness, right, which your channel is devoted to. Basically, you play a similar role to the general woke Christian, right?
I like it.
You play a similar role,
Christian.
Yeah.
So okay.
So we're trying to snap these people out of it because there's some of them are either apostate or just unregenerate. We do understand that, but there's still some people in there that are deceived, but that are in the faith, right? And we gotta get those people pulling in the right direction.
No, I agree. I like that, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, Todd, it has been a great time, man. It's been a conversation. I'm glad that we were able to talk about it and hear your thoughts on Fanny. Hopefully, the end of the week or next week rather will bring us some more good stuff to talk about. But
Amen.
you got anything fun coming up on your channel?
Yeah, tune in, man. I definitely I'm gonna be doing some additional personal commentary on the Fannie Willis situation.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, if you guys are interested, I am going to be taking a deep dive into the politics of Catholicism.
Right.
So, because I think we have to understand in this culture, we are effectively co-belligerents against kind of the secular left, which is kind of driving a lot of the insanity in our culture. But I do think that, I have found that there have been a lot of Catholics that have been like, these people are firm opponents of what the modern left is doing. But then what are the implications for us as far as how we partner with them, and what does that mean? How much of what they bring to the table can we embrace? What should we be wary of?
Right.
Uh, so I've been taking a deep dive into that, and so I'm going to do a little
Okay.
series on that. That's going to be interesting.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. Keep us posted. Always shoot.
Amen.
If you're doing a live, let us know. We'll jump over and check
Oh
you
yeah,
out.
brother.
But
For sure.
well, great, man. Have a fantabulous Lord's Day on tomorrow. I am getting ready
Amen.
to get in the bed so I can get up early in the morning and go pick my bride up from the airport, and we'll do it again. So, Todd, thank you again for hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate it, and we'll talk real soon.
God bless you, brother. Appreciate it.
Bless you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the interaction and such like that. Please make sure you check out Todd's channel. I'd love for you to, I think he's going to earn it. He's going to earn your subscription. So check him out. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.
Amen.